feels like the hero has like playmaking potential, but it always seems to fall short for some reason.
Interesting. I have seen it always just like absolutely dominate games when I watch them in China. Like anytime you see Invoker picked up, Faceless Void banned out. Whenever you see a Faceless Void, Invoker banned out. They don't let them have two of them together. And I think we were watching a lot of those together during the
Yeah,
CNDPC.
absolutely.
Uh, and it was like right every single time. So they seem to have like their own flavor and way of doing things here in NASA that doesn't really include the same CN matchups. They don't really play the same heroes. But anyways, they pick up the Witch Doctor here next on Undying, which is a little bit surprising that they haven't picked up. Okay,
There you go for it.
never
You were
mind.
right.
Neff is right. Ricky is wrong.
I'm
Can we
left.
get a
Thank you.
tally? Can
Just
we get a
left.
tally for the duration of this entire tournament? Oh, let me pull up a notepad. There we go. Neff 1, Ricky 0. All right.
It begins. The Witch Doctor, though, I think is a little surprising because if you expect them to go for the Faceless Void, the Witch Doctor is not a solid pick. But it is one of those heroes that does dominate a lot of these kind of like bruiser, strength, tanky offlane heroes. So it could just be a little bit of a comfort pick, something they're expecting to come out here for Sacred, since Sacred does like to play a lot of these like heavy initiators. Go ahead and just grab Beastmaster. Well, rip Faceless Void. Interesting you picked it into the Abaddon, though.
Yeah, they're gonna have difficult time actually keeping control of this Faceless Void. They don't have a huge lockdown, and the one lockdown, or the only lockdown they have, is easily countered by a single Aphotic Shield, right?
Yeah.
You're never gonna be able to combo up an arrow with that one either. But yeah, the Witch Doctor was a little bit surprising to me when I saw that one grab, just because they don't have any like melee heroes that want to sit inside the lane. Like Faceless Void is able to get out of the Maledict and Paralyzing Cask pretty easily. Usually you see it picked up against something like maybe a Beastmaster or against like a Tide Hunter, anything that's forced to walk beside the creep wave in either the safe lane or the off lane. But they're going to have a pretty easy time with playing into this Witch Doctor because they've got free reign of what to pick. It's not like they got a Witch Doctor, hey, I gotcha.
Yeah, I would
Like, I don't think
say there's
Tide
a
Hunter
potential
regardless.
for the Beastmaster to be mid, right? Because when you're
Mhm.
playing into this Abaddon, the roar isn't going to be like your primary ability. It might just be a mid Beastmaster here into the Invoker, which hasn't been seen nearly as much as that few patches ago before the nerfs, but it is still a really solid way to build the Beastmaster if you have the time and the farm.
Mhm. Hmm. Well, Beastmaster, man, the hero feels so awkward though, Ricky,
It does.
at the moment. I mean, you build Helmdom now a lot of the time.
Hmm.
Uh, they took away his Necronomicon, so he felt kind of useless for that. Then his Wild Axes were just completely broken, and they nerfed that one, so it doesn't feel quite as strong. It's like still reasonably strong, but not like straight up broken.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I
Like, it feels like axes are the build for the hero now. You do at least provide a lot of utility in the form of the Hawk, though, right? Like, the reason Beastmaster is still a top tier hero is because of the Hawks.
Are you pro dive bomb or anti dive
I think
bomb?
Dive Bomb's fantastic. It's such a great ability. The range on it is ridiculous. For those of you who don't know, the cast range is like 800 or something. I think it's 700, but it's such a long range and it's hilarious.
It feels very funny to watch it as well.
You have like what, a half second to react before you just get pelted by a bird. And there's Pango. I think a little bit of a deny pick here, personally, as this is a sacred hero for sure. And they did ban out his Tide Hunter, his Timber Saw, and his Sand King, which is all heroes that he played yesterday. So
I guess just trying to counter out Sacred. I mean, they've had a lot of time to sit there and think about what they want to play. They haven't had played anything in a month or to watch the enemy. So the moment they get the opportunity to counter out some of these teams, they're obviously doing the most research, and they're probably going to treat this as like a bit of a test run for what they could do for the international prior to their boot camp, right?
yeah, correct.
Yeah. So, they're probably going to be taking this tournament super seriously, even though you say, okay, well, it's a $50,000 tournament. It's still going to be a pretty big deal for Undying, who want some sort of training before TI. This is it for them. This is the last thing they're going to play in before they start getting ready.
So it is going to be Saberlight on the Beastmaster, and they're going to go ahead and run the Pangolier in the mid lane here for Bryle. So that was the thing. I was curious which one of those we're going to go to which lane. Sacred's Bloodseeker is a little bit surprising, but it is fantastic against Pangolier. And on top of it, it is pure damage that you offer against the Terrorblade. So if you can rupture up the Terrorblade here, if you get like an Aghanims at some point, you can kind of keep him in place for the duration of that Sunder. But I would imagine he's going to be getting some status resistance this game to deal with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be an issue because you can't get status resistance to deal with things like the Chronosphere, though, which kind of sucks. Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to fight into Infamous's lineup here, though, because you can't run away due to the rupture. You don't really want to stand your ground and fight on top of them due to the Faceless Void and the Invoker. So it's like a damned if you do, damned if you don't. I think they just have to kind of outplay them around the map here, and whenever they do take a fight against Infamous, they take fights in a very smart manner. But if any team is built to deal with something like that, it is going to be Undying. They had some of the fastest match times, like fastest wins inside the DPC out of every single region.
They're a good team, you know, what can you say?
Yeah. So for anyone not familiar with Undying, they're just tuning in now. They did end up tying 6-1 in the first season of the DPC with Quincy Crew and Evil Geniuses, and came up just a little bit short in the second season in third place. So force to be reckoned with for sure.
Yeah, these guys are no joke at all.
Profitable engagement.
No blood for you.
Prepare for battle.
You need to be like a shark.
But I'm going to switch over to the game now. They make a mad dash down the mid lane to plant some wards here. You've got a sentry here on Abaddon. I'm very excited to see more Bryle the mid lane. The man just absolutely pops off. It feels like he's playing position 1 whenever you watch him in mid.
He is an incredible mid lane. He's so consistent too, which I think is one of the things that people like underestimate about Bryle, is he doesn't really have bad games that often.
Yeah. I do prefer like him playing things like the Morphling in the mid lane over to things like Pangolier that he can actually carry the game from. But doing something like that when you've got Terrorblade, which was their opening pick, would be a little bit too greedy. Or one of their opening picks, rather.
30 seconds and counting.
So Dubu and Moonman are going to move together at the start here. I don't think they're going to find any kills. They could with the Paralyzing Cask and an arrow if they catch 2 people out by themselves to easily line that arrow up, but they're going to need one other here with them to click somebody down. You're dealing with a bunch of people who are pretty tanky, and if the Abaddon gets the Aphotic Shield off, the arrow is just going to be useless. They might go for something cheeky here, though. No, they think better of it.
Yeah, it would be a rough spot to try and make that play. So they'll go ahead, just trade the runes. They actually had to get 3 runes here as Lumiere actually snipes the one from the Dire Triangle. So good start here for Infamous. Now Pango into the mid lane of an Invoker. I mean, you do just pick up Bottle, Swashbuckle for range creep. I feel like this lane isn't too bad for the Pangolier.
No, it's fine. I don't imagine there's going to be too much action. You've got a little bit of kill potential here. Once you do get your Orb of Corrosion, Invoker's a pretty slow hero. So it becomes quite easy to run him down.
I'm actually happy to see that he went Shield Crash 1. I've seen a pretty good number of people like skip the Shield Crash 1 in the mid lane, but I think it is definitely the better ability. Like, you get this damage reduction, it's lower cooldown, lower mana cost. It's a good amount of damage. It's a pretty sick ability, level 1.
Well, you're like guaranteed to get the range creep with it. The Swashbuckle, it is a tiny bit harder to secure that. But it means you're like level 4 and 5 are going to be a little bit weaker due to the fact that you're not putting multiple points into the lucky shot.
They caught Dubu on the Witch Doctor, pops the Fairy Fire there. Nice combo of the Bushwhack into Bloodright, so they'll definitely have to be careful of that as this game goes on.
Yeah.
Coconut, unlucky bounce there. But the Bloodseeker, interesting pick for sure in this game. I'm not really sure how it does in lane against the Terrorblade. It's just not something we see all that often. Like, an off-lane Bloodseeker is pretty rare. So we'll kind of keep our eyes on this one to see how it goes. But Tomato, I imagine, is going to be fine here on this Terrorblade, which is one of his best heroes. And just in general, for those of you who may not be as familiar with Tomato, one of the fastest farming carry players, I honestly would say, in the world. This guy no matter what the scenario, almost comes out top net worth in every game.
Yeah, man is absolutely insane. It'll be a little bit difficult for him at the start. All right, now that they're level 2, they're going to be able to deal with this one a little bit easier. I'm not sure if they'll go Voodoo Restoration or Maledict in this lane, though. They'll have more kill potential with Maledict. Yeah, he's going to go Voodoo Restoration. So they want to be able to hold their ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. If Bloodseeker tries to come in onto the Terrorblade at all, you've got so much armor and you're regenerating so much HP with the Voodoo Restoration that you're just kind of forced to walk away. Again, you aren't able to threaten them and push them out of the lane like you can with Maledict and Coconut, but your goal is to farm here, not to try to find kills.
Yeah, exactly. And Tomato, after this meta, is going to have pretty solid CS. Nice little pick there from Michael to make sure that the Bloodseeker gets that last hit. But yeah, they get a lot of denies there. They get a lot of CS up for the Terrorblade, and his lane is pretty much stabilized. Mid lane is a little bit in favor of the Invoker, but CS-wise, I mean, it's pretty much even. Which is what we expected, right? It's not a bad lane here for the Pangolier. Oh, interesting. Shield, something I hadn't really considered. Shield Crash is dispellable from the Tornado, of course.
Yeah. But it's only a 12% damage reduction. It's not like the end of the world if you get that taken away from him. Maybe in the late game if he's on top of a bunch of heroes at once, but at this point, doesn't really matter. Unfortunate. Ended up missing that swashbuckle. He's not going for the early Orb of Corrosion on the Pangolier, by the way. Instead, he's just going to send himself out a Mango, Clarity, and a Magic Stick just to be able to spam out his spell. So,
yeah.
Not thinking that he's going to be able to find kills here on Bryle in the mid lane. Instead, we'll go for the safer route.
I imagine he's just going to try and farm up to his Javelin, like ASAP. He might skip Boots and just go straight Javelin.
Every so often you see the Orb of Corrosion. I thought they'd pick it up against a slower hero like Invoker to stay on top of him, but, you know, you got so much HP regen none of your...
Huh? Well, that's the Bloodright combo. They hit level 3, I suppose, and gives them that extra damage. So, top lane, First Blood's going to go the way of Sacred? No, it went the way of Michael. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, chased him all the way, well, halfway through the jungle there trying to get him. I don't think Dubu was expecting them to run all the way over there. Now they'll be able to safely pull these creeps here without Dubu to stop them.
And that's huge because allowing them to reset equilibrium for the side of Infamous here is like just a byproduct of that kill. And ideally, this is where Sacred wants the wave to be. So he's in a really good spot. You know, Dubu's going to counter pull, but it's not nearly the same. It is just against, you know, a basic easy camp. So it is still going to push that way.
Mm-hmm. Single pull of the small camp, yeah. And it looks like he's not even going to be able to deny a single creep of the radius. All right, never mind. He'll get one. That's it.
Yeah, but Sacred has frozen the lane next to his tower. So this is a unlucky for Tomato. But he'll recover. I mean, he's gonna go head off to the jungle here, probably in just a level or two.
Malone's actually trying to invade the jungle right now. He's got an urn and no charges, so he's hoping to find a kill onto either Dubu or Tomato. But I'm sure Bryle's let them know that Invoker isn't in the lane at the moment, so they're playing pretty far back, not even getting close to the creep wave. And yeah, Alone stops halfway there, realizes that there's no kill to be found, and starts walking back to the mid lane.
Do actually
here.
He drew a circle like, hey, Invoker's here somewhere, by the way. The thing is once Pango hits 6 in the mid lane, he has a lot of kill threat. So that would make a lot of sense as to why Alone try to back off there as well.
Yep. Unfortunately, the timing matches with the catapults. Looking at how do you do that?
They're bringing Mirana mid, and Hoodwink is rotating up to the backside as well. And they're bringing a lot of heroes to the mid lane. They want to make sure that they get this 6-minute rune here for Bryle, and he does grab it. TP bottom from Alone, though, as he's wanting to play aggressive, but Saberlight's at his tier 1 tower, so I don't know where he's going with this. Maybe trying to pick off a rotation back from the Mirana, but Moon's in his triangle.
They're wise to it.
Yeah, he scouts out with the
Undying
Hawk.
are going to give this up. Yeah. As what you were talking about, that extra utility, the vision from the Hawk, stopping any of these ganks, and you're wasting a lot of time now on Alone.
Yeah, they're getting a decent chunk of damage onto the mid lane tower, and Moon's just trying to keep eyes on this Invoker, preventing him from, you know, really contributing. You go ahead and drop that first fortification here, try and keep this tower going, but again, Bryle You can clear this wave up pretty quick with a swashbuckle in just a second here.
Yep, exactly what he does. Back onto the tower, whittling it down now at half HP. All this from alone walking, trying to find a kill with his urn. They forget that they're playing against Team Undying. I think maybe this month that Team Undying took off, they forget the gap. It's not so easy to get kills against a team with this kind of map awareness.
Yeah. And a lot of that is, you know, they have this like really good ward up on the high ground here that scouting this invoker. They have the hawk deep into the jungle as well, which I'm sure Saberlight will just throw a new one. And ends up throwing it underneath the tier 1 tower bottom, and it's going to give him vision over the Abaddon. Just outside of that vision though, so Lumiere does need to be careful. They're gonna go ahead and TP in alone once again to the bottom lane, but the Hawk providing the vision. Saberlight on the side does get caught for a moment, but he's just juking it out into the trees. And he's just gonna walk away.
Yeah, they know it's too dangerous to chase him into the trees. He's gonna have extra vision if he summons another Hawk. If they run into each other, Dubu could throw out another coconut. They're just forced to walk back, and Alone is losing even more time here.
And Bryle's still in the mid lane, just absolutely crushing it. Perfect use of the Quelling Blade there. He gets the... Did it get denied? I'm very confused. Bryle has to TP out, but it's not in time. Sacred with the Rupture. Oh, no.
Bryle tried to do the math, but unfortunately it was NA math.
It was a quick TP response. The second the Rupture hit, he went for the TP, but he was just too low on health to begin with. And that is one of the reasons you see this Bloodseeker picked up here, right? Obviously super strong into that Pangolier.
Well, they could have just stopped the roll and TP'd.
Well, oh yeah, he could have. He didn't have Bushwhack. He literally could have just stopped roll and TP'd.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I thought that he imagined he thought that he was safe to just roll a TP, but he did not do the math on that one.
4-man smoke to the bottom lane. They want to punish Saberlight here. There's the blood right, the EMP. Plenty of damage coming through here. Is going to pick up finally getting this Saberlight kill in the bottom lane. As he has, they spent a lot of time rotating down here for this, so feels good for them to finally find that kill.
Yep. Things are now going their way. They found 2 kills, one on the mid laner, another on the off laner. They're going to be quite happy about that on Infamous. Still a 1k net worth advantage on Undying. You have spent a lot of time walking around while the Undying heroes farm. But you've mitigated how far ahead they are. I imagine Bryle's going to be refocusing his efforts here on the mid-tier 1 tower, but with Michael here, now it's sitting, starting to get closer to level 6, he's not able to push down the tower. Instead, he'll turn his eyes top. He wants to go on the Faceless Void, but you need a little help to be able to do that.
He will, but Bryle, I think, just wants to assert dominance here. He's going to go the Echo Saber build. So this was something we saw out of was it Sacred that did this? I'm not entirely sure. Bottom lane, though, Rupture comes out onto the Beastmaster. They get the kill. In comes Bryle, the Rolling Thunder. Not used quite yet, but he is going to chase after this Bloodseeker. Breaks his ankles on the first attempt there. Going to try and catch him. Second time, gonna definitely catch him. And the question is, can Sacred outrun this? Absolutely not. Ends up being a 3-for-1. Punishing that deep. I mean, it was fine before when you're going near your own tower for Saberlight, but when he's near his, that TP response was very quick from Undying.
Yeah, wasting no time there on Bryle. I mean, Pangolier loves taking these big early fights too, much more than Invoker does.
Oh my gosh, the Mirana got 3 Starstorms off in that fight.
Moon Meander's good.
What can you do? He's just too good. Oh, what a tank of the arrow by the Faceless Void top. I mean, it's, you know, it only keeps the catapult alive for a few extra seconds, but it was pretty spicy. He is going to go for the chrono. Sharpshooter up on the back side, and then there's the Sunstrike. They got him. I think he was just...
You got to do that to a man who drops 3 Starstorms in a fight.
Yeah, he pump faked the first chrono, and I think Moon was like, okay, he's just taunting me, but turns out Michael was channeling the Sharpshooter the whole time.
Well, I mean, they Sunstrike you, they Chrono you, they Sharpshooter you. What can you do? You're position 4. You take that.
Yeah. Speaking of taking that, they get the tower at mid lane. Saberlight's looking at the tier 1. The rest of the team kind of collapsing around him. With the Helm of the Dominator completed, it makes it quite easy for them to make these pushes. Top of the net worth is Tomato, like we talked about. This guy farms.
He does. And looks like they're going to farm this mid tower as well. I don't really want to approach that, not with Bryle standing behind you. A lot of walls to bounce off here in the mid lane. They could get a deny. Not
Well
even.
played there by Saberlight, actually toggling his helm dom onto a new creep as it was about to die, so he doesn't feed that gold over, and giving them that extra tower.
200 is no joke, but yeah, Tomato top of the net worth here. He's ended up getting himself a Dragon Lance first, which is pretty common these days. The extra stats that give you without having to spend the extra gold for a recipe does feel pretty nice, and you're playing against Evoker and Faceless Void. They get on top of you. You're going to want those extra stats to be able to survive Sunstrike.
Yeah, a little bit of strength never hurt Terrorblade. So he's up to 6,200 and climbing. All right, Faceless Void. He's got the Maelstrom. Chrono cooling down in about 60 seconds. What's your next item here on the Faceless Void?
A game like this one, I imagine that... God, I imagine he just wants to go BKB or Assange Nyasha. We talked about that at the start. Status resistance is going to be pretty important. Your Abaddon is going to be able to save you a lot of the time, but you want to be able to get out of... either these Rolling Thunders you want to be able to deal with a Lucky Shot, Disarm. You could just get a Manta style in order. Yeah, here's up the Sanjayasha next. There it is. Answers it for us.
Mid lane, they were looking for Michael, but he's not going to get found. Well played there with that little scurry through the trees. Moon, Arrow, looking for Sacred. Brile trying to catch up with this Rolling Thunder. Barely does, but he's get the Rupture off last second. Now Brile does need to leave as Lumiere on the backside looking for him. There's going to be the Sharpshooter and a Sunstrike through as well. Trying to heal him up, but it's not going to be enough. And now on the high ground, chasing down Moon. Double kill for the Faceless Void.
And unfortunately, they don't get anything off that. Saberlight trying to push pressure the bottom tower wall that's going on, but they had Fortify available because he had just taken that tier 1 mid. So he gets pushed back into his own jungle, and finding all these kills is paying off. He just isn't able to stand his ground against the Rupture, and that's why even though the last pick Bloodseeker was a little bit awkward, it's done such a good job against Pango already. 2 kills thanks to this Rupture.
Oh my god, he has Alpha Wolf on Brax now, on oh no, I said Brax, on Saberlight now. This aura is so good for pushing towers.
Yeah. His tier 2 already down to 1,000 health. I mean, he's playing it exactly like we used to see it back when he did have Necronomicon in the game.
I'd like to see Helm Dom get a slight buff, personally. Either that or make Helm of the Overlord. Is that what it's called? It is Helm of the Overlord, right? Oh no. There we go. Where is this? Yeah, Helm of the Overlord. Or Helm of the Overlord just needs to, you know, not be bad.
Come on.
What?
People build it sometimes.
I mean, as like a 9th item, usually. I never see people actually go for it early, which is, you know, kind of a sign that the item might need a buff. It's also just so expensive, dude. That's 1,600 cost recipe is like the second most expensive recipe in the game.
Yeah.
Bottom lane, Saberlight continuing the push here. Just chasing down the Abad and trying to get that ultimate, and he does. So
Yep,
borrowed
and now,
time on cooldown now. The rest of
Brile
the
and
team
Dubu
sitting up
are
on the
gonna-
high ground too. Do they have vision of this? They do not.
Yeah. Brile and Dubu are going to come in. I think they kind of have an idea. There's heroes sitting up there. I don't think they expect...
Yeah, quick little roar. Saberlight's just poking him down, waiting for his opportunity to find that kill, and he does. You know, that's one of the things, like, he knows he can't really roar like a core this game because of the Abaddon, so he's just going to use it to take down that hero when he has the opportunity.
Yeah.
Nice pick off there. Little return kill for their team. Sunstrike to reveal that ward. Well played.
They started getting back before they even reached there, so they figured that they had vision on them. Nice grab. Brile's going to stick around down here. I'm not sure he wants to, though. Bloodseeker's still playing pretty close and counters out your Pangolier pretty well. If he shows him, so the moment Sacred shows himself in another lane or underneath a ward, they're just going to run at this Invoker at bottom.
I am very surprised at how farmed Moon is right now. He has 5,100 net worth. Chrono once again come out in the top lane. Sharpshooter not yet available, but that is a huge Sunstrike. I did not realize this Invoker is full Exort. And he's on his way to an Aghanim Scepter, just about 1,000 gold away. So that Cataclysm is going to come online very fast.
It is very scary, the Chronosphere Cataclysm combination. And against a Terrorblade who doesn't have this Eye of Scotty yet. Yeah, doesn't have his Eye of Scotty yet. it's gonna blow him up like almost 100 to 0. He's only got like 1500 HP, and that Cataclysm going to do like 1200 pure damage.
Seems good. Seems pretty good.
Very cool and balanced stuff.
All right. The pressure is paid off for Saberlight as he finally takes this bottom tier 2 tower. They don't actually grab the outpost, but they smoke right away as they head towards mid, seeing if they can find someone here. Michael might be the one that breaks it, and he is indeed with the vision on the backside granted by that Hawk. They'll just be able to burst him down pretty easily here. That was a quick sharpshooter. But I think you can go Roche pretty soon. I mean, you've got Tomato who just popped his meta. You got to get something out of this. Arrow does connect, and now the damage begins.
This is your only opportunity to take Roche, though. In fact, I mean, he's 500 gold away from this Aghanim Scepter. Yeah, and no chrono. 500 gold from Aghanim Scepter. If you wait another 70 seconds, there's no way that you manage to take it.
Roar on the backside. Ends up finding the Bloodseeker. The chain stun there as well, just holding him in place. There's Swashbuckle. Brax. I said Brax Brawl once again stuck in place on the roll, gets caught by the Rupture, but he is just so slow thanks to this Beastmaster.
What can you do?
I don't know why I keep thinking Brax is in this game. I just love the guy. What can you do? He's always on my mind. Have you seen that man?
I like his cat, Nunu. Brax is just an extension, or Brax is just the man attached to the cat.
I see.
I don't know. Yeah. Shout out to Nunu, Brax's cat.
Tomato closing in on an Eye of Scotty. He does manage to find a Pupil's Gift, which is fantastic for the Terrorblade this game. We've already talked about the importance of HP here. You have the Cataclysm available now for the Invoker. I mean, that is 950 pure damage right now.
Yeah.
Actually, it might be more because I don't know if that factors in the extra point of Exort that he gets from the Ags. So it very well could be... It could be well over... It could be almost 1200 damage right now.
It does factor it in.
It does?
Anyhow.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was one thing I was unsure. Granted, I've played a lot of Invoker, but I've never like gone into a test lobby to see if it shows.
It does. All right, they're smoking up now, so they're looking to finally unveil this Chronosphere Catalysm. They can get a... Yeah, I think you just go for Tomato. Just...
I mean, he's got Aegis using that combo for the Terrorblade when he'll just like come back with meta. It feels really rough. You've got to get multiple heroes, I think, right? If you can snipe Saberlight +1, I think your fight is super easy. And Lumiere actually time walks in. They are going to just go and drop the Cataclysm right away. And, you know, Beastmaster is dead without committing the Chrono. That's a huge win. Chrono on the backside. It does end up catching 3. Nowhere to follow, though, as far as the damage. Pangolier falling low, ruptured up, but still alive, holding the Faceless Void in place. There's the Roar coming through. They get the return kill, and now Abaddon stuck here in the middle of the river, beat down by the Terrorblade. Sacred on the backside, trying to run for his life, but Swashbuckle on through. The slows are there. They get a third. Great return play here from the side of Undying.
Unfortunate. I mean, this fight started about as good as it could have, but you're right in front of a tier 1 tower. Saberlight's able to buy back into the fight immediately and turn that around. I mean, you catch 3 with the Chronosphere as well, but you just can't fight into them anymore, it feels like. Undying, they execute these team fights so well. They know everything you do, and even though even though you got caught at the very edge of that Chronosphere, it looked like you were going to drop there on Pango without finishing him off. They just weren't able to hold their ground against them. Now 7k net worth advantage. Despite the fact that the game looks so even, it's 10 to 10. You have a bunch of counter picks for them. You have this amazing tool in the form of Chrono and Cataclysm. They know what they need to do in these team fights so well here on Undying. You can never fight into them. They never seem to be in a position where they let you win.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to respond here to this high ground push, but Hoodwink might just be the one that dies in the process. Bryle, 1 Swashbuckle left, debating about going in, but nice save there from the Abaddon. They're still going to continue the chase. Rolling Thunder being pump fake, but doesn't end up getting committed. Tomato still sitting on this Aegis. Just trying to bait Infamous out of position, it seems. Another Hawk coming out to the backside. Gonna reveal everything on the side of Infamous. This is what makes this hero so good. Oh,
The moment they commit too far forward,
Dubu, there's going to be the initiation out onto the Bloodseeker. A Photic Shield does come through, and it will keep this Bloodseeker alive. Bryle, however, in some trouble, does have Rolling Thunder. Rupture about to expire. Swashbuckle away, and there he goes. Going to be able to chain stun these heroes down one by one. Abaddon will buy back into the game, but Michael will be the second to fall, and now you get the tier 2 tower. The damage is done. Again, still sitting on the Aegis here with this Terrorblade. Undying just playing too damn good, neph.
Positioning coordination is just on a different level than some of these other teams in NASA, it seems. I mean, they're a TI team, and it shows. Like, you try to get everything going your way in these team fights. Like, the Ruptures keep coming out onto Bryle, but, you know, Dubu plays far enough up that he's able to throw a cask out onto people when they try to, like, group up and initiate onto him, so they can't do that. Abaddon needs to be super careful with this position. The moment he throws out a Phonic Shield, that's when the roar comes out from Saberlight. Everything is executed in these team fights near perfectly. And they just can't find a win here on Infamous.
Yeah, I can't wait to see these guys win TI.
Me too. It's NA's year.
It is NA's year. Smoke up here from the side of Infamous, but Saberlight breaks it with the army. Arrow's gonna come through, gets dodged, but Abaddon just crawling away here. You managed to clear up all the creeps. They were trying to trigger his borrowed time, but there's the dive bombs. He's still chasing after him here on Saberlight, but he's not gonna get him.
Yeah.
Oh, he got it with a dive bomb. Oh my god.
Embarrassing.
What an ability. 250 damage, 2-second stun. It's a 1200 cast range. Remember I was like, yeah, it's probably like 700. 1200 cast range, by the way.
It feels pretty long. It's probably 700.
1200 cast range. Yeah, okay. I knew it was a large AoE.
And summon him up again. What can you even do? All right, they're trying to group up and
denied their bounty rune in their face. Bryle, in the cover of Moonlight Shadow, they catch him, but he has the Lincolns there on the backside. They've caught the Terrorblade and the Mirana. There's going to be the Cataclysm. Can they finish him off? No, he sunders Dubu, and they turn the fight around. Faceless Void in trouble. Maledict already on top of him. They get the kill. Now Bryle looking for more. The Death Ward's going to finish off the Squirrel, and now it's Sacred all by himself. Can he get away? First stun comes through. The chase continues, though. Disarmed, held in place. The arrow connects. They will be able to bring down that Bloodseeker, and Tomato has bigger objectives on his mind as he's already cleaned up that mid-tier 3 tower.
That fight with a double damager and wasted no time ripping apart these buildings. Going for the BKB now. That'll, I think, end any possible chance they have of killing them. Tried to man to dodge that EMP, but unfortunately was slightly off the mark. But yeah, that was one of their few opportunities to get in this game. Like, you do have huge burst damage with the Cataclysm Chrono, but it came out too late. They had the Aegis of the Immortal.
Oh, dive bomb into Arrow. They catch alone.
I mean, this is like a showing of how good Undying plays their timings. The one opportunity that you had, like, you could have brought down the Terrorblade before you finished that Eye of Scotty, is when they were like, Chronosphere was on cooldown for 70 seconds. They didn't quite have Cataclysm up. You made one single mistake on Infamous and it cost you the entire game. Undying is picking you apart.
Oh, Moon.
I mean, now they're just clowning around.
Yeah, Moon breaking some ankles, still got Wand and Guardians, but Bryle's in. The blink stun on the backside with this Rolling Thunder. If they can take down this Faceless Void, I don't know what you can do, and the chain stuns are there. 50 seconds does have buyback. Pango still chasing. This Terrorblade is an immovable object. The GG comes out as Infamous acknowledge they've been beaten here in game number 1, and Undying looking as strong as ever, Neff.
I mean, it looks like they never took a month off. TI qualifier form that they're in, and I'm excited to see what else they're going to pull off in this tournament. No small thing pulling off this kind of victory against Infamous. And I say it was pretty even, but again, the tiny mistakes that Infamous made in these team fights, they played them perfectly. Positioning so good from Dubu, never caught inside those Chronospheres, always able to punish people trying to go onto Bryle with a cask, standing behind him. even the laning phase, he knew, okay, I need to secure Tomato Farm at the start of this one. Instead of going for the Maledict, instead I'll just keep him healed up, make sure the Bloodseeker's never able to zone him out of the lane. And because of that, I think it just enables Tomato to do what he does best as a farming player, to stay at the top of the net worth. There wasn't ever really a point where he fell off. Maybe the first 5 minutes of the game, he wasn't ahead of the Invoker, but after that, enabled by Dubu Chad.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. Like, Dubu goes his Holy Locket build, just making sure that he can always keep this terribly topped off. The Cataclysm came out near that triangle. He just tosses him. The Holy Locket charges, heals him up with the Voodoo Restoration. And yeah, it was such a clean performance from Undying. It seemed like they never really lost their cool in their fights. You know, a couple funny plays on Bryle's Pango in the interactions of Rupture, but at the end of the day, I mean, this team is so dang good. And I mean, to pull out a win like this, like you said, against an incredibly strong team like Infamous, it just kind of shows how strong this Undying lineup is. And it's not the end of the day, you know, we're just getting started. That's game one, Neff. We got game two of Infamous and Undying coming up in just a moment, everyone. So stay tuned for more action here on the Loot Bet Pro Series Season 7. We'll see you in just a bit.